Hey everyone, Vanessa Wheeler here again with Premier Guitar. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe below. Today we are looking at a new pedal from Pigtronix, a modulation pedal called the Moon Pool, which features trem and phase and dynamic control. So let's dig in. The Moon Pool is an analog phase shifter in tremolo with independent speed controls featuring the ability to change the rate of one or both of the effects in either direction, corresponding to how hard you play. The 4-stage VCA-based phaser and variable bias tremolo found in the Moon Pool can each be run as standalone effects, or they can be combined in series for a mesmerizing mashup of modulators. A global depth knob determines overall wetness, while a sensitivity knob allows you to dial in the responsiveness of these changes to accommodate different playing styles and colors. Both the phase and trem speed knobs sets the rate of either of these effects. The depth knob sets the intensity of both the phaser and the tremolo, while the sensitivity determines how much signal is required to change the speed of both phaser and trem while dynamics processing is turned on. Beneath these knobs you'll see three-way switches. The middle position can either set only trem activated, only phase activated, or both trem and phase. To either side, you have dynamic three-way switches. To the right is a speed switch for the tremolo. In the up position, the speed increases in response to playing dynamics, while in the lower position, the speed decreases. In the middle position, there is no change. The same is true for the dynamic phase switch on the left of the pedal. Today I'm playing an Abernathy Guitars Sonic Empress. It has 2 Gemini pickups. In the neck is a DeArmond style gold foil, and in the bridge is his take on the classic PAF humbucker. It's short scale at 24 inches at the neck, and it has an A-sized neck, which is very thin. Other than that, I'm going through a Polytune tuner into a Benson preamp, into the Moon Pool, and occasionally using delay from the Old Blood Noise Endeavor's Black Fountain, into the Strymon Iridium on the round setting, into the Apollo Twin, and into Logic. In this example, I'm going to be using exclusively the phase section in the fixed dynamic position. I'm employing a little bit of fuzz from the Benson preamp, and then halfway through, I'm going to kick in a little bit of delay from the Old Blood Noise Black Fountain. Let's take a listen. In this next example, I'm using exclusively the trem side with the dynamic switch moving from fast to slow. Notice the increased speed when I play with a harder attack. In this next example, I'm using, again, only the phase side, but this time with the dynamic switch going from fast to slow and a little bit of hair from the preamp. I think fuzz and hair combined with phase is a real vibe. So let's check that out. In these next two examples, I'm employing both the trem and phase, and I will have the same basic settings, but I'm going to change the directions of the dynamic switches. In the first example, you'll hear phase going from fast to slow, while the trem is moving more slowly. I think this adds a really sultry, chewy sound compared to the reverse. Let's take a listen. Here I'm going to be using exclusively the trem sound, but going from slow to fast this time. I think this is ideal for adding a lot of motion to sustained chords, sustained notes. So let's take a listen to that. In this example, we have just the phase running, but the dynamic switch going from slow to fast. Again, this is a great vibe for sustained chords and sustained notes. Let's take a listen. In this last example, we have the phase running really quickly, the trem running rather quickly, but we have the depth turned all the way down. The effect that this has is contrast. The phase sounds rather robotic without being overpowering, and the trem sounds really fluid without being overpowering. So what do I think of the moon pool? It's really hard to go wrong with something has 2 effects in it and is very small. The trem sounds great, the phase sounds great. The added dynamic control is really great to use. It's very intuitive when you're playing, and the ability to mix and match these dynamic controls in particular is super fun. Pairing it with gain and with delay, like I did in the first example, gave me the impression of like a ZVEX Sequa vibe, and I really enjoyed that. That's exactly what it is. It's really inspiring. If I had my druthers, I would love a tap tempo, but that's normally what I would love, but I don't know where you would put it. It's so small. So that said, I have been Vanessa Wheeler for Premier Guitar, and I will see you next time.